Hola tribe. So today's a video vlog, and I wanted to make it yesterday, but today's perfect. So I had a conversation yesterday with someone who is, as they said to me, their words were, had I studied Christian Science, the religion of Christian Science. And I know that I have, not to the depths that they wished I had. However, it's so odd to me because it's kind of my belief system on some level, you know? To deny science within religion is just insane to me. However, that's, I say science, like physics, basic physics, and how that works within spirituality is just, I guess that is my truth. That is the way I look at it. Vibration is truth. There is truth in the vibration, and that's where the clarity is. So, so I had a discussion with this person, and I love studying people and their religions. And why do I say this? Because I love understanding where people's beliefs are anchored into. So it was interesting because one of the people I work with was like, why in the world did you have that conversation? You were like locked with them for a while. They said, you must have gained something from it. Like, what were you doing having that conversation? I said, I did. I always gain from those conversations. One of my greatest joys is having conversations with people like that and understanding what it is they believe, so I get a greater perception of where they stand. I want to understand people. Like, what you anchor your belief system in shapes you as a being, right? So there are so many different religions, and I don't want to harp on Christianity. However, there are many rivers of Christianity, no matter what anyone wants to say. And for me, I think I've said this before in other videos, that Christianity, to call myself Christian, the word got so tainted that I just choose not to. It's so mucky. Those the dark forces, they took it and they destroyed what it is. They took and ruined the roots of it, and it no longer represents that which it was meant or intended to represent. So I personally call myself Christ-lighted. Right? I am Christed. I am Christ-lighted. However, I am unlimited to the religious spectrums that exist, and so I have walked this path on many belief systems, all which, in my opinion, are the same. They're all like got the same aspects. So I take a little of this, a little of that, a little of that, and I bring them together, and it makes up who I am as a being. However, to the root of who I am Christ-lighted, and I choose to acknowledge that because it's in my work. When I do my functional therapy, my breath facilitation, all of it is wrapped in. And why is that? The way it was gifted to me, the way the energy was channeled through, in our actual structural alignment is how the Christ light is within us, right? So, simple, Christed. I am Christed, or I am Christ-lighted. Now, over to this conversation I had. This is what blew my mind. And I was in the middle of the gym having this conversation. And eventually we took it outside and had a longer conversation, which was okay. I'm grateful. And I'm grateful because I learned a lot. It was exhausting. Yet I really did learn a lot. And what I learned the most is when this person said to me, And I want to hear what you have to say about this, because this got me. This really got me. They said God is mind. God is mind. He told me that God doesn't live inside of the body. God doesn't live inside the body. God is mind. Oh, my freaking heart was broken. To believe, for me anyway, to believe that God is mind is ego. God is mind. To believe that God did not create this physical form, now that frightens me. That frightens me. For any human being to turn and say that God did not create this physical form, that just made me see, and this being was literally in so much pain in their body. They had so much physical misalignments and pain walking with a cane. Their hip was, their pelvis, how can I say this? Their whole pelvis was about 45 degrees, maybe more, shifted to the right-hand side. Like, instead of their pelvis being underneath their shoulders, there was a 45-degree tilt of their pelvis over here, and that's how they walked. And so the big S-like shape. And this being is telling me that God doesn't live inside the body. Well, in their world, clearly God doesn't live inside their body. Look at that. And I get it. I've gone through my journey of my body. I freaking treated my body like shit in the early years of my life. And I've worked my ass off to achieve what I've achieved. And I've gone backwards and I've gone forwards. Personally, I know my pattern of sabotaging my body on my journey based off of other energies wanting to come close to me, other beings who want to come in to my energy field. I do things that I don't appreciate that I do to myself. So just learning to not allow those beings anywhere near me is really what it comes down to. Fuck them, take care of me. That's more of where I'm at. So, and that's been a long lesson to learn and accept on my journey. So, with all that being said, this being is telling me that God doesn't live inside the body. It is incapable for God to take human form. It is incapable for God, not even human form. It is incapable for God to create form. God doesn't create form in this person's reality. So to say God doesn't create form and God doesn't live inside the body and God didn't actually create his body, I actually finally asked him, I said, then what created your body? What aspect of creation created your physical form? I said, and I actually said, what demonic being created your physical form? Because if God didn't create it and you're trying to tell me that all you're trying to achieve is some level of, I almost want to say salvation, but some level of spiritual transcendence. All this guy wants to do is transcend outside of his body. And when I believe all God wants us to do is get in our body and to own it for the gift that it is, right? So this guy wants to transcend his body because he believes that God didn't give it to him. And that, isn't that prison? That's all I could think of. This man is living in prison to believe that the one gift that God gave us, the one physical form that God gave each individual human being is the body, is this fucking body. And to believe that it's not, whoa, that's torture. That's hell. That's hell on earth. Whoo! I was crying like you wouldn't believe. The process of witnessing this human being, believing that God didn't create that and that God is mind, was the most painful thing to witness and accept in that moment. And so, the complete opposite of everything I believe in that right there. And so this person has witnessed me teaching classes, and he the first time he saw and met, he actually turned and said, I ain't drinking what you're buying, and I ain't drinking what you're selling. That's what he said. I ain't drinking what you're selling. I don't want anything of what you got. And I, okay. And he tells me that he's been witnessing me. Listen, okay, we've created some bonds here and there, and said hello. And I know how much I can help this person. But I also know that they're very spiritual or religious. I know this. And he has been in the Christian Science for since I think he said 1966. So he's really rooted in it, but he's so separate from the understanding of it. Doesn't matter. By the time we were done with the conversation, he first and foremost had started the conversation with thinking that I was, an idiot. And I'm going to be clear on that. He really did. The way he was kind in his approach, but he basically was saying that I'm some ignorant being who doesn't understand metaphysical energies. And I thought that was hysterical. And so we had a conversation, an interaction. And in that interaction, there were some questions he asked me of what reality is. And I basically explained to him of what my belief system is, and he kept trying to say you or us. He kept trying to put me in the same category as him, of saying of different, taking this as reality. And I said, stop putting me in those verbiages. I said, because that is not who I am. I said, I don't believe what you're seeing around you is reality. I said, this is an illusion. This form, this is an illusion. It's all bullshit. That has nothing to do with it. Even this physical body on some level is bullshit. However, I will acknowledge that it is the gift of God. God didn't create my car. That is like a subdivision of the gift, right? So God created the human that made the creation. So that the God within the human created the vehicle. Is it an aspect of God? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will honor it as that. Right? To not give gratitude and thanks for the belongings I have as God-given is foolish, because God is within each of us. It is an inspiration. It is a movement through, right? So God created it through alternative beings, right? Through the aspects in light of the divinity. Now, interesting. So, I apologize, I'm in a parking lot and there was some interesting beings going around, so just taking it all in. With that being said, in the discussion, he basically turned and said, again, thinking I was an ignorant being, having the discussion, clearing and clarifying. And my responses to him, the more he asked questions and the more my responses came through, he literally kept stopping in his tracks. He kept thinking, as I'm this speedy little talk, he's trying to tell me, and he's saying the same kind of stuff, talking in a way of as if I wouldn't understand or comprehend. And then when I stunted him with my responses, he literally paused and went, well, that is true, and that is correct, and that is what it is. And then he would, tell me a whole bunch of details within his religious belief system of how that matched up. And I went, okay, that's awesome, that's great, yep. What else do you got? And so we went through this process. Long story short, by the time we were done, he looked at me and he said, you are far more evolved than I had given you credit for. And I want to give thanks for having this conversation, because I wouldn't have known this about you had we not had this conversation, which truly was a gift. It was a gift for any human being, especially of his age, especially of his condition, and especially he is a knowledgeable human being, yet limited in his knowledge. He kept compartmentalizing God. Okay? You can't compartmentalize God. Just saying. You can't compartmentalize God. If you have a belief system in a higher vibrational, if you call it spirit, if you call it God, if you call it universal energy, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. You can't compartmentalize it. That's the illusion. It is impossible to compartmentalize that and separate it from any experience or perception that you're having. It is the primary. It is what you are rooted in. It is your belief system. Don't lie to yourself. I don't want to lie to myself. Please don't do it either. So, and it's probably not you. Those who are watching this, it's not you most likely. So... Can you tell it was a moment? It was a moment. So, getting through the other side of all of it, the pain of witnessing a human being believing that God is mind and that God didn't create this being. To have those two belief systems come together literally without this person knowing it. He literally confessed that he was imprisoned. His soul was imprisoned inside of a body that God didn't give him. His soul, his energy, which he thinks is mind, okay, which is physical form, but he said it was all spiritual. So, okay, no, brain and mind, I guess, are two different things. Mind is the energy center, is the spirit of the mind, is of the brain. You know what I mean? So the mind and the brain, right? The brain is the physical form. The mind is the electromagnetic energy running through it, right? So he's saying the electromagnetic energy running through the physical form is his, but only up here, not down here, not down here. That was awesome. Just up here. So that energy right there, only limited to here, because he said over and over again that it had nothing to do with this. As if the energy from here doesn't travel down the rest of the body. Just saying. Literally confessed that his soul was imprisoned. Wow. I do not know if that is the root of all Christian science, or, in other words, Scientology. However, if it is, that is one hell of a prison. That is one hell of a prison to leave yourselves in. And no wonder why they're looking to attract others into their hell. Misery loves company, right? God bless them. God bless them. You know, I was at another facility in the last couple of weeks too, and in that other facility I met another person in that field, and when they said hello to me, they asked if I was part of it, like I was part of their tribe, and I said, no, I'm not, but I understand, you know, your belief systems. And he immediately shut down, like, please, you're not my tribe, you don't know me, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh, okay, whatever. And you know, a little bit of an interaction. We had about a nice 60-second, 2-minute interaction where he turned and said, well, my mother's Christian and my father's a Muslim, but my father gave me permission to go and be whatever I wanted, so he chose Scientology, which was lovely. And I said, yep, I understand that. I was told I could be anything I wanted to. And when I chose religion outside of Catholicism, I was told I hated God. And so it took a few years until there was experiences had on a healing vibration within the family that they changed their tune and said they would never question my belief system again, that they knew that God and I had a very deep relationship. And I was very grateful for that awakening within them. However, so many can't hear. Yeah. So yeah, I would love to know of your own personal journeys, your beliefs. It's important, and it's not a judgment, it's just an understanding. You know, I'm that type of person that when I have, what are they? The ones who knock on the door. Doo-doo-doo. I can't remember. But they come by and they knock on your door and they want to have discussions with you and stuff like that. Feel free to tell me what that is, because I'm drawing a blank right now, distracted by the other beings coming through. I invite them in. I have conversations. I love it. I freaking love it. I love to understand people's perceptions. I love to celebrate them. Everyone should be celebrated for their belief system. Just saying, if you're invested in it, why am I going to... You're invested in it. I want to understand. So, yeah. Oh, it was that close. I almost remembered what it is, and now I drew a blank. Okay. So, I keep wanting to say Protestants, but that's not the answer. That's not it. Right there. I'm going to press that little red button, and I'm going to remember exactly what it is. It's son of a bitch. All right. So, on that note, believe what you believe. Don't compartmentalize it. Yeah. I love you guys. Peace out, tribe.